Let's talk the top 5 Salesforce admin soft skills or non-technical skills. Now, these can apply for not only Salesforce admin, but anyone working within the Salesforce ecosystem. So let's talk through them. We're gonna go number 1, communication, number 2, documentation, number 3, curiosity, number 4, discipline, and number 5, the drive to learn. So let's jump in and talk about why these 5 soft skills will be essential to helping you level up within Salesforce, being able to look for higher paying positions, looking to get that dream job. And at the end of the day, these 5 soft skills will be able to translate your technical aptitude into real world experience. So let's go ahead and do it. So the first one here is communication. Now, communication is extremely important because of how much admins need to collaborate with their own internal team as well as external stakeholders. It is extremely important to have these communication skills, whether it is written, whether it is verbal, whether it's on phone calls, recording videos. You want to make sure that you understand how you're collaborating with other people within your scope of work. So making sure that that collaboration is happening, making sure that you are over communicating where you're at in the process, whether you're still eliciting and gathering requirements, whether you are delivering, and making sure that you are very clear at where you are in the process and your progress. Another piece of communication here is because as an admin, you are constantly problem solving. That means in order to solve a problem, you need to be able to communicate and make sure that you understand the problem. Eliminate all assumptions. Make sure that you communicate your questions, get everything clarified, whether you're scoping that work out to others or whether you're receiving work from others to simply build. Make sure that you communicate and make sure that you problem solve for what's in front of you. So again, extremely important. Don't have any assumptions about the work. Always communicate your questions, your curiosities, and clarify what's needed. And as you do that, you'll be able to problem solve at another level. You'll be able to look around corners, being able to find those edge cases, and make sure that everything you're building is a holistic view of the problem. So communication is key to problem solving. And lastly, on communication, everything you do, whether you believe it or not, and whether you think you're just building away as an admin, is relationship building. Making sure that you're building those relationships, that you're communicating often, that you're being honest in your communication so that you can make sure that you're building relationships internally on your own team, as well as external stakeholders, end users, anyone you come in contact with. You should consider the benefit of building relationships with these individuals. They can help build you up as you communicate and build those relationships. Second soft skill I want to mention is documentation. This is so important as a Salesforce admin for so many reasons, and I'll just cover a few here. The top few reasons that I want to cover documentation is, for starters, to make sure that you are building a scalable process and building best practices within your org and even within your own personal mind, right? As we build, as we find new solutions, as we encounter new problems, we're constantly evolving how we think as Salesforce professionals. Documentation is so important to make sure that you don't have to recollect everything you've ever built. You want to document what you build. Now, the last piece I want to talk about documentation is so important for succession planning. Nobody wants to inherit an org, and I know we've all done it, sadly, but nobody wants to inherit an org where there's no documentation, where you have to go in and poke and prod and audit everything just to understand what was built before you. So please do yourself a favor and do everyone a favor and document your work in the event that you're no longer at that position or that company. Now, the third one here, the third top soft skill is curiosity. I love this one because this is extremely important. If you're looking to grow, you need to have that growth mindset. You need to want to understand everything going on within Salesforce, within your own particular environment, and within your client or your company's processes. Now, if you're only focused on exactly what you've been told to look at, and you're not looking at other implications that could happen because of your build, you're doing yourself a disservice. So curiosity is so important to understand each and everyone's process. Particularly as a Salesforce admin, you are often building for one business unit, whether it's the sales team, the marketing team, CS, whoever that is. Making sure that you have that curiosity to understand, to ask those questions, to poke and prod, so you have a full picture, so that you can make sure you are leveling up your build and understanding how your process affects the supply chain of service, right? That's so important to understand the impact of your build. And so curiosity is a critical part of making sure that you are the top admin at understanding what you're being asked, what you want to implement, and how it affects everyone. Be curious about the processes that you're involved in. So curiosity is so important for the problem solving, for making sure that you are looking at the impact analysis, but it's also so important for your own personal learning and improving upon how you build. Stay curious. Don't be content with the way that you do things. Too often can I say that I've been very proud of a build, I've maybe even documented it, but if I'm not curious and looking at, how would someone else approach this? Or has someone already explained this on a forum or in a help group? Stay curious, stay learning, and making sure that you improve upon yourself. Curiosity is so important in not only improving, but being adaptable. A curious admin is a flexible admin. They're open-minded, willing to learn and understand other ways to look at a certain problem and to build the perfect solution. Fourth soft skill or non-technical skill for admins is going to be discipline. Discipline is extremely important as you manage your day-to-day work as well as your project work. Discipline is an integral part of time management, of attention to detail, of accountability. A discipline is so important. So making sure that you have processes in place for when you build and how you build. A few easy call outs is it takes discipline to always build in sandbox. When you're not disciplined, you build in production. When you're not disciplined, you build in production and you manipulate data straight into production. Discipline allows you to have processes in place and to follow those processes each time. Discipline is going through all of your test steps, making sure that you are looking at all possible angles, because in every build, you should always be trying to break your build as you're doing your testing. Discipline is going through all of your steps. Discipline makes sure that when you do deploy, when you do go live, that you've already gone through all the steps and everything should be set and the team doesn't have to be impacted but with a poor deployment because you had the discipline to go through your steps. A disciplined approach ensures that you take responsibility and take seriously how you are diligent in making sure that Salesforce meets the needs and goals that has been asked. So please make sure that you are constantly working out that muscle of discipline. As you do so, you will have a much easier life when you're looking to do deployments, when you're looking to manipulate data, to make sure that you have the discipline to go through your proper steps. So that is such an important soft skill for any admin. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how skilled you are in your technical work. Whether you're coding, whether you're building flows, whether you're doing custom objects, relationship work, if you're not disciplined enough to follow the proper steps, it all crumbles. And the fifth and final soft skill I want to talk about for Salesforce admins is the drive to learn. Now, I've mentioned this slightly as I've talked about documentation and curiosity, always trying to improve. But in Salesforce, you have to have a drive to want to learn. There's always going to be new releases, new features, and you want to have that drive to learn, to always be ahead of the curve, to always be looking forward for your clients, for your company, to make sure that you are leveraging the best possible features or products and services within the Salesforce world. So if you have a drive to learn, you're going to be ahead. You're going to be searching for the best possible solution. Not just the best possible solution that you have, but that drive to learn is always be searching. Always be looking on forums, those groups, always be on Trailhead, looking on certification paths, wanting to improve yourself. Not only will that benefit you in your current role, but this is just a career and a development path, is to have that drive to learn. It's very easy to see when an admin has become content in where they're at or their role. They don't have that drive to learn. They don't have that willingness to push themselves, to take those courses, to expand what they're able to do. That drive to learn is so important in that collaboration process as well, that you have the drive and the willingness to learn and ask for help. And so as you learn and as you share your information, you will only grow. You'll only grow within your own processes and improve your processes, but be able to develop yourself as a professional. And so that drive to learn is critical for any Salesforce admin that's looking to differentiate themselves and to stand apart from the group. So here with the last recap, these 5 skills are going to be communication, documentation, curiosity, discipline, and the drive to learn. So those are the top 5 soft skills or non-technical skills that you should be looking to develop. As I mentioned, it's like that muscle to be constantly working out to make sure that you are growing that muscle. And this is important whether you're looking to interview for a first-time admin or developer, any Salesforce role there, whether you're looking for higher paying jobs or making the move into Salesforce. Thanks, and I'll see you next time. Bye.